Prince Harry has said that Rishi Sunak's government is at rock bottom and they avoid scrutiny by getting into bed with friendly newspapers. The Prince was using his appearance in the press intrusion trial to criticise a serving government. Harry told the High Court, "Our country is judged globally by the state of our press and our government, both of which I believe are rock bottom," said the Prince. It was very juicy yesterday. What has happened today, though? Our man Oliver Whitfield-Miočić is our reporter outside the High Court. What has been happening this morning, Oliver? It's Prince Harry's day 2 in the dock.
Good afternoon. Yes, well, we saw Prince Harry arrive probably a little bit later this morning and then straight into court for 10:30. When he got there, the cross-examination began straight away. Andrew Green, KC, is representing Mirror Group newspapers, and as he started speaking, Prince Harry interrupted him to say, "Good morning, Andrew," in a sort of nod to say, "Where's your manners, please?" It's been quite a few little funny exchanges throughout the day today between the two men. At one point, when Andrew Green wrapped up today, we heard again from David Sherborne, who is the celebrity barrister who's representing Prince Harry. He said, "I'm not going to take you through all 33 of those stories," to which Prince Harry replied, "Thank you." But earlier on today, it's been pretty much more of the same. The Daily Mirror trying to say to Prince Harry, prove to us the fact that these stories were gathered illegally, and they are coming up with what they see as evidence that the stories were not. Two examples of those. One, where Prince Harry had queried how photographers would know that he was at a certain central London nightclub. Andrew Green, KC, pulling up a email from a source who had contacted the newspaper to say, actually, we've seen Prince Harry here for 3 out of the previous 4 weekends. Another story relating to Chelsea Davy was discussed. There was also a story in which Prince Harry's phone was stolen when he was in Lesotho. He was worried that his contacts would be intercepted, that his messages would be read. However, the Daily Mirror went on to report that the phone had been protected with a password by Palace Security. They wanted to know how the Mirror had got a hold of this story. The Mirror said, actually, if you look back 2 days before, the French news agency Agence France-Presse had published a story speaking to their sources within the African nation. The Daily Telegraph had then followed that up a day later, and then a day after that, the Daily Mirror had reported it themselves. Now, when you listen to examples like that, you would think that Prince Harry hasn't really presented enough evidence to support his claims. But speaking to legal experts and other crime correspondents within the court, they have said that whilst Prince Harry will not win all of the claims here, they do anticipate that he will win some of them. So the potential there for Prince Harry to come away victorious on some of those claims, especially the ones which are more personal information, the ones where it might be a little bit more clear-cut that something must have gone on for this extremely sensitive information to come out in the public light. Of course, it is for the judge to decide all of that. A decision is expected within the next 1 to 2 months. But inside court, Prince Harry is still holding his own. He's still remaining calm. He's answering the questions to the best of his ability. He has fans in there. He's got people from the public who've come along to see him. And for those who haven't been lucky enough to get a space in court, whenever Prince Harry comes outside for a break or there's a little pause in the hearing, you've got the fans outside saying, "We love you, Prince Harry," and he's smiling and giving them a wave. But yeah, we're expecting him to come back onto the stand 2 o'clock, and then we expect he's going to have another 15 minutes of questioning by his barrister. At that point, we expect that he will leave for the day.
Should be said, Ollie, this is a civil case. It's not a criminal case. What happens then at the end of it? Is there a simple... is somebody looking for an apology? Is there a search for financial retribution? What's the situation in that respect?
I think in a case like this, we would be looking at some sort of financial settlement that would come out of it, so some sort of award from the judge. Quite interestingly, what we're hearing from the Daily Mirror's lawyers, every time he's brought up each of those 33 stories, he said to Prince Harry, "Can you remember seeing them?" And damages can be awarded based on whether a person's seen them, how much discomfort, distress that those stories will have caused. Now, if Prince Harry says, "I can't remember seeing them," or "I did not see that story," the judge will then have to look back and go, "Oh, well, he only saw 6 out of the 33 stories," for example. I can't remember how many he said that he has seen. But that is an indication of sort of the way that potentially the legal sides here are trying to frame that argument. The financial settlement, the financial damages that are awarded is up to the judge, and, you know, it can run into the millions, but if Prince Harry keeps on saying that he hasn't seen these stories, that would then lower the amount of compensation or damages he would receive.
Oliver, thank you. We'll be back later with more from Oliver Whitfield-Miočić, TalkTV reporter outside the High Court. I think this is a case of a bloke that just doesn't like news, does it? I think that's really what this... Doesn't like the newspapers. He doesn't like the idea that newspapers would be interested in high-profile people where there is a huge and compelling backstory of often venality and duplicity and lies. Newspapers that might have an interest because people from the royal household might wish to tell stories about what is going on. The idea that every story that appears in a newspaper or anywhere else for that matter from about Prince Harry is was somehow obtained through illegal means is absolute nonsense. I mean, journalists, good journalists, get to the root of a story. That's the whole point. Good journalists talk to contacts. They use their head. They know the way the land lies in a certain story. The example there of how did they know Harry was going to be in a certain nightclub? Well, quite aside from the fact that people who work in those clubs will often make a quick call, bit of a tip-off to the boys and girls over there in Fleet Street. There could be some of that. But a diligent hack will look at that and go, well, he was there for the previous 3 weeks, so we kind of worked on the basis of consistency and we turned up to check. So, I mean, there's a kind of almost a misplaced, slightly hysterical hatred of all things news-related when it comes to newspapers from Harry.